Well, you may have heard by now that I recently turned 50 years old. That's right, the big 50. I've joined the club, I've crossed over, and apparently, according to many, this is a pretty major deal. Some call this halftime, some call it midlife crisis. Others consider it to be the beginning of the end. Well, that's not at all how I'm looking at the next season of life. In fact, I can't tell you how excited I am about the opportunities that are ahead of me now. Quite frankly, I feel like I'm just getting started. I've heard various metaphors, analogies, and ideas about how the decades of life work, and for me, maybe it's played out that way. 10 is discovery, and 20 is so-and-so, and 30 is so-and-so, and so on. But most people agree that you really come into your stride when you turn 50 years old. So I really do believe that I'm just now finding my lane and getting a really solid momentum behind what it is I was created to do and getting about doing that. Well, let me just reflect a little bit on my first 50 years. I was born into a wonderful family. Mom and Dad were great people. My dad was hardworking. He loved us, didn't know how to express that so much, but he loved us. He provided for us. He worked hard. He supported us in so many areas of life as we were growing up as kids. Mom was, well, she was the quintessential mother. She stayed at home, cooked the meals, kept the house clean, tended to all of our needs, and, well, she was the typical 50s and 60s and 70s mom. She was also an incredible prayer warrior. She prayed for me every day. In fact, most of my life, growing up as a kid in the house, every night when I went to sleep, I could hear my mom on the other side of the house calling my name in prayer and praying that God would keep me, that He would protect me, that He would cause my life to come into greatness and significance. I treasure that from my mom. As most of you know, early in my childhood, 11 years old, I experienced a very significant trauma that marked my life and certainly imprinted things on my life that I would have to eventually overcome and receive healing for. Going through my teens, I was an avid sportsman. I played basketball on my high school team, was recognized around the city and around the state, and had a wonderful high school experience, albeit somewhat tormented because of the tragedy that took place early in my life. 21 years old, I met the love of my life, Sabrina, and we met in Dallas, Texas. I just happened to be here visiting a friend, and 9 months later, we were married. Of course, as time went on, we had kids, and two, as a matter of fact, my son Christian and my daughter Abigail. And then, of course, most of you know my story that crisis once again struck because all that was pent up in me throughout my childhood sort of came to a head in my mid to late 20s, really early 30s. And I had to get some help. And in the year 2000, I was 33 years old, I received a great deal of help, and it was a turning point, a pivot point in my life. So my 30s were years of healing. They were years of reprogramming my mind and beginning to understand things anew. My 40s were years of good hard work, pastoring a church, working in ministry, traveling around the world, doing what I do, and enjoying every minute of it. Had great relationships, great mentors in my life. As I reached the mid to late 40s, I began to know there was transition on the horizon. And of course, if you follow this podcast or this program, the Monday Mastery Program, or anything about me, you know that the last 5 years have been a marvelous, beautiful, God-given transition in our life where we've moved from one season to another. Just a quick snapshot of my life. So many fill in the blanks there that need to be filled in. But the truth is, I'm blessed. I've had a wonderful life to this point, and now I'm looking into the next chapter with great anticipation, great confidence, and great joy. One of the things that I'm most thankful for in my first 50 years is that I get to come into your life week after week. I want to tell you I don't take this for granted. I love you, I care for you, I pray for you, and I consider it a high honor to be able to speak into your life, into your leadership development, into your personal development, maybe even give you some ideas from time to time about how to grow your business or reach your capacity for that thing that God's called you to do. Thank you for celebrating 50 years with me. Thank you for being a part of my life. And thank you for believing in what we do. It's my 50th, but today I celebrate you.